the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Turn 3 Racing Network. As tonight we're here at Lucas Oil Raceway as we present to you Madness in May, presented by Schaeffer's Racing Oil. The pavement sprint cars are here making some noise, and already these drivers are finding out just how difficult these race cars are to handle. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. My name is KR Stolfus, and in the booth with me is the glorious Ryan Kent Jr. Ryan, how are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm not sure if glorious is the correct word, but I certainly appreciate it. I'm fantastic. I saw a live race yesterday, and you know, anytime that, you know, of course you can sprint at the racetrack is fantastic, especially when you spend 18 hours at one like I did yesterday. So I'm just as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as you can get today, KR.
Well, I imagine you are, and I believe you said you were up till 3 a.m. or you left the track at 3 a.m.
You kind of cut out there for just a second, but yeah, it was a late night. Late night for sure.
All right, man. Well, we're glad to have you out here tonight as the drivers are working the final 3 minutes of warm-up here in tonight's activities. So while we have a time, let's go ahead and go through tonight's race sponsors. Schaeffer's Racing Oil, Dirty Dale's Diesel Performance and Auto, Herbert Properties, Gray Auto, Bob O'Link Liquors, CX Wallets, Quick Lifts, Union Graphics, Professional Concrete Cutting and Drilling, Paxson Flooring Installation, Murray's Automotive Detail and Performance, and Evan Gindling Plumbing. All of these are sponsors of our drivers out here in real life, and they have put this show on to get some recognition for their sponsors. So these drivers know that a lot is on the line, not only for their sponsors, but also in this 8-race series, as tonight is going to be race number 3. And we look at our points standings. Skylar Brown has taken over the points lead. He has 183 points. Chase McDermott sitting in second with 180. James Tiernan in third with Anton Hernandez. In fourth with 5th place going to Dustin Griffiths. These points battles are very close here in the top 5. Even further down, everyone real close on points here, Ryan, as these drivers try and celebrate the month of May, this madness of May, and race number 3 of 8 coming at you here tonight.
Yeah, I guess the theory behind this was to just take a majority of what is real life race car drivers and put them in race cars that are about as various as you can get. You have a wing sprint car, which drives completely different than a midget, which drives, those two things drive a complete universe different than what we have tonight in a pavement sprint car. And then you go to a much different racetracks. We started off with midgets at Kokomo, a fairly wide open quarter mile, allows room for mistakes. Then we move to the 410 wing sprint car at Lernerville, where there is next to no room for mistakes. Tonight, pavement sprint car. I wish we had pavement wing sprint cars, but pavement non-wing sprint car at IRP, Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Well, there's a little bit of room for mistake, but especially when you're racing side by side, going to be more difficult to pass certainly than it is typically on dirt for these guys. Less side-by-side action, more of an endurance race with a 60-lap feature event. And the next week we go to Fairbury, where Fairbury is pretty much just You pretty much better pound down the wall or just scoot around the infield tires. You know, about a million different grooves there. It's going to be a good show there as well. So a lot of diversity in both drivers, their ages, their skill sets, their real life, their iRacing abilities, and then the actual cars, and then the tracks that they go to. So a whole lot of diversity, and I'm trying to just bring out the most talented race car driver that can come and be league series champion.
All right, Ryan. Well, qualifying, getting ready to fire off as these drivers make their way out onto the track. We'll see how this is all going to shake down, as it looks like there might be something up with the server. Is it everything is locked up for the moment? Is that what you're seeing, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm not seeing. Well, here, I'm actually in the session as a competitor too, so let me see if it even allows me to qualify, just to test and see if, I mean, I'm allowed to roll right now. So maybe we're just having a little bit of a time break between what is popping up on our end in terms of timing and scoring, and what drivers are actually able to do competitively as I try to drive with one hand.
Oh, such a talent, being able to wheel this pavement sprint car around with just one hand.
Wheel is a nice word. Drive. There's a difference between driving something and then driving it fast. I'm simply driving it right now.
All right, guys. So I'm going to have to step away for a minute and figure out what has happened. Maybe this issue is on my end of things. So no one go anywhere. We'll be right back after our national anthem.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Madness in May Triple Crown Series as the drivers are starting to take to the grid for our first heat race of the night. And that means it is time to go through our gray auto starting lineup. And on pole here tonight is the 98 of James Tiernan. On his outside will be the 91 of Chase Barber. Row number 2 will be the 127 of Stephen Hill and the 7 machine of John Steed. Row 3 will be the 33 of Shane O'Banion and the 44 of Michael Fischescher. I think I got that one right. We'll go with it. Row 4 was the 06 of Rylan Gray and the 4 of Justin Owen. And row number 5 will be the 19 of Joey Paxson. As the drivers roll out, we get ready to fire them off here at Lucas Oil Raceway. And Ryan, a Pavement sprint car near and dear to both of us, so we've spent a lot of time calling races for these.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time calling races for these. We both spent a lot of time driving. One of us has spent a lot of time going fast in one. The other has spent a lot of time crashing. So, yeah, a lot of passion for these. I wish I could be faster, both in real life and on iRacing. But, you know, it's a good time. And I think that these are the most diverse and challenging cars that are on the server. Some people talk about a couple of different dirt cars and some sports car stuff, but you know, the patience and just the racecraft that it takes to drive one of these over the course of tonight's going to be 60 laps. You and I have called races here that have been 80, sometimes even longer races where it requires a pit stop, which tonight's event will not. Not a needed pit stop. If you have a pit stop, probably going to be in trouble. But set to go here for heat race number 1, presented by Herbert Properties, and looking forward to getting tonight's action underway as James Tiernan and Chase Barber set to bring us to green, KR.
The 98 has the field nicely stacked up behind him. The green flag comes out, and the 98 has the lead going down into turn number 1. The field quickly getting single file. 4 drivers going to make it straight into the main event here tonight, and Tiernan solidly out in front trying to pull away. Solid opening a lap for the 98 machine. Meanwhile, a little bit further back behind them, we do have drivers running side by side. That is the 06 of Rylan Gray down to the inside of Shane O'Banion.
And Gray off the corner hits the inside concrete wall, and that will finish his heat race. We don't have cautions here in the heat races, so that will unfortunately probably stick him into a C main for tonight. That's a battle for the 5th spot you're looking at. Fischesser, O'Banion, and Owen. Owen and Fischesser, former teammates in the real world in non-wing sprint car racing. A couple of very good non-wing sprint car drivers, especially around southeastern Indiana and the state of Ohio, as they start to duel out with another guy who runs non-wing sprint cars, and Shane O'Banion, as O'Banion, his car number 33, starts to chase after Fischesser, dive off the inside of the corners. Fischesser goes up and taps that outside wall. Just trying to get into 5th. John Steed right now holds on to the 4th and final transfer spot. So those guys are trying to put themselves in a front row seat for potentially a B main event here tonight, which will be the last chance to get into tonight's big dance, if you will. So a little crossed over there. Looks like issues for Fischesser as he got crossed up at the middle point of the corner. A lot of action going on back there as Chase Barber starts to try to close down on James Tiernan and Stephen Hill in that battle for the 2nd spot.
3 laps to go here in our Herbert Properties heat race number 1. Tiernan out in front to a 1-second lead. John Steed has a 1-second gap to Shane O'Banion, solidly in the final transfer spot. But now with 2 laps to go, most of these drivers have gotten close to single file. Justin Owen in the 4 machine still battling with the 33 of Shane O'Banion, taking a peek to the inside, just could not get up off the corner good. But Tiernan gonna take the white flag here. Final lap in heat race number 1.
Yep, juice box boy Justin Owen just trying to squeeze a little bit of momentum and an opportunity out of Shane O'Banion right there, who also was at the 24 Hours of Farmington last night along with me. But James Tiernan going to dominate heat race number 1, presented by Herbert Properties, as he sees the checkered flag first here in heat race number 1 for the Triple Crown Series Madness in May, and the pavement sprint cars here at Lucas Oil Raceway. So James Tiernan picks up in heat race number 1, KR, and that'll bring us on to heat race number 2.
Heat race number 2 lineup brought to you by Gray Auto. On row number 1, the 10 of Skylar Brown, and on his outside will be Jacob Gordon in the 41 machine. Row number 2 will be the 27 of Evan Mosley in the 40 of Chase McDermott. Row 3 will be Gary Cronenwet and the 73 of Blake Vermillion. Row 4 will be the 59 of Jesse Vermillion and the 56 of David Flick. And that is going to make up our 8-car starting lineup for heat race number 2, brought to you by Union Graphics here tonight. The drivers wait patiently for the pace car to start rolling out. So heat race number 1 in the books, 4 cars advancing into the A main. Heat race number 2 looking like they're ready to go. And Ryan, have already seen some of these drivers figuring out this line here at IRP.
Yeah, there's gradual banking here, so as you get higher up the racetrack, the track starts to get just a little more torqued, if you will, a little more banked, to where it helps as your car. Helps you carry more speed. You see some guys where they drive it in real deep and then try to drive it off. In real life, that upsets the car quite a bit. It does to an extent on here, to where the back end shakes around and you just start to lose some of that traction because you're changing levels so drastically. So you really want to try to have a line that keeps you on a more level playing field, if you will, a more level plane. So it's a little tricky, as I've found out by the hundreds of times I've smacked the white wall and left a big black mark. But yeah, just kind of tricky. But for a lot of these dirt guys, it's a little different. When you're on dirt, you can pick a million different lines, whereas on pavement, it's a little different. So these guys are, as you said, under quite a big learning curve.
Yeah, it really goes to show the skill of these drivers running in the midgets, the 410 wing sprint car, and now the pavement sprint car. And only seen, one driver have an issue in heat race number 1 being Rylan Gray. We'll see him again here in one of our qualifying main events. But Skylar Brown in the 10 machine going to lead this field to the green flag. And here we go, back underway in heat race number 2. Jacob Gordon, Skylar Brown side by side into turn number 1. The 41 machine of Gordon gonna come out on top, and he takes over the top spot from the 10 machine of Skylar Brown.
Yeah, Gordon looking pretty spectacular there early on. Behind them, though, it's a great battle for the 4th spot. There's only the top 4 finishers advancing into tonight's feature event, and that 4th spot currently held by the 73 of Blake Vermillion. Behind him, side by side, are Chase McDermott and Gary Cronenwet for the 5th spot, and Cronenwet's going to take that spot, going to continue his momentum up around the outside, try to chase down Vermillion. Here comes McDermott back to the inside. Cronenwet changes lines. They about go 3 wide on the exit of turn number 4, and Vermillion's able to hold on to that 4th and final transfer spot for the moment.
They work their way on to the backstretch. Several of these cars lighten up the tires, trying to put the power down. But for the moment, the 73 of Blake Vermillion holding on to that final transfer spot. The 01 machine of Gary going to dive down to the inside. Can he make the pass here? A little wiggle coming up off the corner, but Gary going to slide into 4th place.
Yeah, Cronenwet able to just dive to the inside and show some pressure. And I think Chase McDermott might have learned something by watching that move as Vermillion goes sideways and go to the inside, and those two make contact. I think those were the brothers right there that get together, and it was. So Blake and Jesse, I'm sure, are lighting up the administrator voice chat right now. They just got into each other on accident, but that's going to seal Gary Cronenwet's advantage pretty pretty out front is right behind him now is just Chase McDermott, and then it's a big gap backwards to Jesse Vermillion. But good battle there for a couple of laps before we had a ticking time bomb go off.
So Blake Vermillion on pit road. His heat race is done and over with, but Skylar Brown, Jacob Gordon still battling for the race lead. Brown in the 10 machine has taken over the top spot, but with 2 laps to go, sending it down into 3 and 4. Gordon gonna keep trying to apply the pressure to that 10. Both these drivers across the start finish line. Final lap one more time around here in our Union Graphics heat race number 2. Gordon to the inside. Brown gonna have the momentum down the backstretch. Into 3 and 4. Final time they go. And Gordon not able to get the speed up off the corner. Skylar Brown is gonna win it here in heat race number 2. Second goes to Jacob Gordon. Evan Mosley finishing 3rd and 4th, going to the 0-1 of Gary Crononwet. So heat race number 3 getting ready to line up as the drivers make their way to the grid for this one. This is our Murray Automotive heat race. So let's go to our gray auto lineup. On the inside in the 20 machine will be Tyler Kendall. On his outside will be Dustin Griffiths. Row number 2 will be the 53 of Braden Fox and the 02 of Dustin Engel. Row number 3 will be the 28 of William Niederman and then the 69 of Evan Gindling. And on row number 4 will be the 07 of Ricky Lewis and the 11 of Matthew Beckwith. As the drivers roll out, a lot of drivers trying to put heat in their tires here in iRacing on pavement. Having your tires with some temperature, very important. None more so important than, I would say, this pavement sprint car.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of those cars that laps become valuable in more ways than one, or just how to handle the race car. A lot of times, especially on dirt, you know, you can power your way out of trouble. You can kind of drive your way out of trouble by sometimes just stomping on the gas and you jump the cushion or something like that. Whereas in the pavement car, you do that, you light up the tires and you spin out, and your race or night or heat race is over. So much different in terms of how you handle the car, handle situations, your driving style throughout the course of an evening. But heat race number 3 presented by Murray's Automotive sees Tyler Kendall and Dustin Griffiths on the front row as they slowly bring the field to the green flag, and we are underway here with heat race number 2, and one car up and into the wall on the front stretch. And I believe, who was that, KR?
That is William
Gindling in the
Niederman.
backstretch wall.
So Evan Gindling and William Niederman early exits for their heat race, but Tyler Kendall out in front in the 20 machine, being chased by Dustin Griffiths in the 82. These heat races go quick.
So yeah, Nederman, Gindling, Lewis, and Beckwith are all in the pits, so that means the top floor are locked into the show.
So troubles for 4 of our 8 cars in this heat race. That means it is going to be an easy time for these 4 drivers to make the A main. Everyone else going to have to fight their way into the last chance qualifier. But now we see 5 laps to go with Tyler Kendall out in front. Braden Fox in the 53 machine, sitting in 3rd place as we go on board with our Nobles Tech service camera. You see the 53 very easily working that wheel, and you do have to be gentle with this sprint car, not only with the steering wheel, but more so with the throttle pedal.
Throttle control, and this is something that a couple drivers talked about. It'd almost be more helpful to have less power, because like as you're never going to hit most of the time full throttle in a car like this. maybe at a track like this, depending on your setup and just how talented of a driver you are, how you utilize the corner, your line and such. But most of the time in a pavement sprint car, the maximum amount of power that you'll put down, if you can see a percentage, is probably 60, 70, 80%. That's in real life as well. So just a lot of patience and kind of trickery. And I know in real life, guys will use a pedal that has essentially a bottom, and then they have a top on top of that. So their foot goes in between two posts, and they can pull off the throttle very easily. But yeah, interesting as to how guys with iRacing handle their throttle control.
Final time around here in heat race number 3. The 20 of Tyler Kendall working his way around the 11 machine of Matthew Beckwith. And Tyler Kendall going to win heat race number 3. Dustin Griffiths second, third goes to Braden Fox. Dustin Engel going to bring it home in 4th. Those 4 drivers make their way into the A main here tonight. And so now we get ready for heat race number 4 as the last few drivers cross the start finish line here for tonight's event. Matthew Beckwith in the 11 machine, slowly making his way onto pit road. But now we switch over to heat race number 4, and that is heat race number 4 is the Paxton Flooring. And the lineup for tonight's heat race brought to you by Gray Auto. Row number 1 to 3 of Robert Dalby and the 77 of Justin Lewis. Row number 2, the 111 of Brandon Hughes and the 5 of Anton Hernandez. Row 3 will be the 12 of Dano Lindsay and the 2 of Austin Archdale. Row 4, the 71 of John Ho and the 14 of Brandon Morin. That is your 8-car lineup as they start to roll out, Ryan.
A couple of fairly accomplished real-life drivers, as talked about a number of guys, most guys in this that drive either sprint cars or midgets or something of the matter in the real world. Robert Dalby, a very accomplished midget racer, ran some races this year for Chad Boat and Tucker Boat Motorsports, and runs, I believe it's his own car out on the West Coast as well. Anton Hernandez is going to compete the full year in the Baldwin Brothers Racing non-wing sprint car on the USAC National Sprint Car Tour. Austin Archdale, I know for a fact, runs a handful of wing sprint car races with a series that I announced for in the MOA Sprint Car Group. Brandon Morin, a non-wing sprint car driver around Indiana. So a number of these guys that run in the real world are now competing against each other as well here on iRacing.
So the lights have gone out on our pace car. Drivers stacked up single file for 2 rows, I should say. Good grief, 2 rows apiece, 1 high, 1 low. Ryan, I know you're tired, but man, I'm talking like I am. Good grief.
Yep, 4 times 2 equals 8. That's how many starters are in heat race number 4 of the day, presented to you by Paxton Flooring. We are off and underway as Robert Dalby leads the field to green, and off and underway they go. Anton Hernandez with a good jump in his car, number 5. He'll rocket to the 3rd spot, look for 2nd. Down into turn number 3. They go 3 wide for the lead. Dalby able to scoot away. Hernandez to his inside. Going to be 2 wide at the stripe, with the official leader being Robert Dalby. Hernandez back to the bottom, and car number 5 will drift up the racetrack just a little bit. Lewis just starts to scoot by as Austin Archdale rides in that 4th and final transfer spot.
The 71 of John Hoy has found problems. He's down on the infield grass. No yellows in the heat race, as Hoy is finally going to take the flatbed back to his pit stall. But the race for the lead, that is currently between Anton Hernandez in the 5 and the 3 of Robert Dalby. 3-car battle. You could throw in Justin Lewis in that 77 machine. 4th place, final transfer spot going to the 2 of Austin Archdale. Contact made. Anton Hernandez going up and over, flipping in turns 1 and 2, and he is going to land on his roll cage, and that is going to be it for his heat race, as the 77 and the 3 now find themselves running 1 and 2. Brandon Hughes making his way into the final transfer spot.
Yeah, so a little bit of right spot at the right time. A little luck right there for Brandon Hughes. As you said, he'll slot into that 4th and final transfer spot. Then it's about 7/8 of a second or so back to Dano Lindsay, who rises in that 5th spot. So Hughes pretty much can just be on cruise control, try to put himself into the big dance tonight. So this is the 4th and final heat race. After this, we should have a C main, which will take the top 4 into the B main for tonight, which will have a total of 16 drivers out of the heat races. And then I believe we're going to have 8 or 10. I'm not exactly sure how many are coming out of the B main for tonight's event.
Dalby in the 3, starting to put a gap on the 77 of Lewis, as we're having 2 laps to go. They work their way into 3 and 4. Dalby.
It is actually just 4. My apologies.
Dalby going to take the white flag, final lap, final time around here in our Paxton Flooring Installation Heat Race number 4. Lewis in the 77 able to get a good run that time on the corner, but ends up riding right in the tire tracks of the 3 and off of turn number 4. Dalby going to win the heat race number 4. Lewis finishing 2nd. Austin Archdale 3rd, and Brandon Hughes will make it into 4th place and advance into the main event.
So yeah, now that we'll have looks like the C main will be skipped. So they're just going to go B main. It's going to be the top 8 header to the feature event. And in terms of the B main event, that looks like 18 cars set to line up. 17 will compete, as number 18 will let the grid thing roll down on its screen right now.
Our gray auto starting a lineup for this event. Shane O'Banion in the 33 on the inside of row number 1. Row number 2 will be the 69 of Evan Ginley and the 12 of Dano Lindsay. Row 3 will be the 4 of Justin Owen and the 59 of Jesse Vermillion. Row 4 will be the 11 of Matthew Beckwith and the 14 of Brandon Morin. Row 5 will be the 44 of Michael Fish-Escher and the 56 of David Flick. Row 6 will be the 07 of Ricky Lewis and the 5 of Anton Hernandez. Row 7 will be the 19 of Joey Paxton and the 73 of Blake Vermillion. Row 8 will be the 28 of William Niederman and the 71 of John Hoy. And row number 9 will be the 06 of Rylan Gray and the 47 of Marion Roth? Ruth? Is Marion Roth or Ruth?
Well, considering it's an O instead of a U and Babe Ruth is not related, we'll go Roth.
I like it. Using logic. But
common sense, KR.
That is none other than Ryan Kent with his iRacing name, pulling admin and broadcast duties. Ryan, thank you very much for that, man. Not an easy task here tonight.
I just try to do what I can to contribute to society, so as long as I can make you happy, that's all that matters.
So here we go, our B main getting ready to fire off. These drivers.
This front row, they were also at with O'Banion and McDermott. They were both at Farmington last night, so they're going to be maybe a little sleepy here in turn number 1.
Well, the 33 of O'Banion wasn't sleepy on the start. He got a good jump, but the yellow flag going to come out just as fast. And I am not sure what the caution flag is for.
I think it's for what you just mentioned. He was able to pull away quite a bit from McDermott right there, and that inside line continued to go with him.
So our Bob O'Link Liquors B main under the first caution of the night. Shane O'Banion in the 33, your race leader. Chase McDermott in the 69 machine, or I'm sorry, in the 40 machine, sitting in a 4th place. So Ryan, drivers quickly back under yellow. Now you got to try and keep temperature in these tires.
Yeah, just like in I say just like in real life, but you try to light the tires up just a little bit to an extent, and fall back a little bit, then gas it up, get close to the car in front of you. I understand race control. Race control is trying to have a double file restart, but I'm not sure that it's going to happen here. Just listening to race chat.
We ride on board the 33 machine, looking out the back of him. See, the field is a single file for the moment. We'll see if race control can get them to line up too wide. But laps are ticking down here in our B main.
There's also an issue with lights. Lights should go out this time around, in theory, but so it should have been 2 to go right there, and it did not happen.
Well, another thing that did not happen was a C main, but if we would have had a C main, that would have been brought to you by Dirty Dale's Diesel Performance and Auto. So we want to thank Dirty Dale's for helping support this league here. And even though you did not get your C main, Dirty Dale, let's make sure you get your name out there here tonight. So thank you so much for helping support this league, as the Bobo Link Liquors B main is under caution. Quick Lifts bringing you this caution session. We're gonna have 8 laps to go. The lights continue to stay on the pace car. So Ryan, more issues with race control, or is it just an extended caution here?
Well, I'm not sure what the extension is for. I know that wasn't intentionally by race control, but trying to the lights should go out right here to bring them to 1 to go. And as the pace car will hit the front stretch here, we will see if the lights do go out, and they do. So we should get back to green this next time around. But for some drivers who have had speed and are further back in the pack, maybe your Anton Hernandez's, or a couple other drivers, and maybe even some who are just in the middle right there, for Schaeffer, Vermillion, etc. Morin, they're trying to have all the laps they can get to try to move forward. So we'll see how that shakes out here, as we pretty much have a 6-lap B main event, taking the top 8 to the big dance tonight.
8 going to advance out of the B main. Shane O'Banion in the 33, bringing this field around to the front stretch, waiting for the green flag to come out. And here we go, back underway. The 33 again with a good jump on the start. The 69 machine of Evan Ginley battling. Well, actually the 69 falling back very quickly here. Evan Ginley losing spots left and right.
Yeah, Gilling just got a tap as they go 4 wide in the middle of turn number 4. 1 car into the inside wall. Gimling got shuffled out of the mix right there.
More
a couple
contact.
Cars into the wall. Goodness.
Matthew Beckwith went for a spin on the front stretch. Now William Niederman has gone for a spin into turns 1 and 2. And Evan Ginling goes from 2nd to 12th throughout all of that, but with 5 laps to go. Shane O'Banion, your race leader, the 4 of Justin Owen, sitting in 2nd place. Right now, your final transfer spot, that is the 5 of Anton Hernandez. Blake Vermillion in the 73 machine, just on the outside looking in, trying to close the gap. As we got 1 up and into the wall. I believe that was the 14 of Brandon Morin. He gathers it back in. This Pavement sprint car, a little bit durable. You can bounce off the wall a little bit without really damaging it too much.
Yeah, Banian continues to hold about a half-second lead over Owen and McDermott. That's your top 3. Daniel Lindsay, Jesse Vermillion, Michael Fischesser, and Anton Hernandez, along with Blake Vermillion, right now shown as the top 8 that are in the big dance. Blake Vermillion has a plenty big of a cushion, about a second and a tenth or so. Back to Evan Gilling, who rides in the 9th spot. So your top 8 are pretty safe and secure right now. Just have to make it one more, about half mile to go here to put themselves into the feature event.
Final time around, the 33 of Shane O'Banion coming off at turn number 4, and he is going to win our Bobo Link Liquors B main here tonight. Jesse Owen bringing it home in a second. And so B main done and over with, and drivers going to move in to a little bit of a warm-up session. Going to have 5 minutes here, Ryan, to get in the last few minutes of practice before we fire off this A main. And so with all these drivers going to try and hit the track, Ryan, this A main event's not going to be an easy thing to do for these drivers, let alone controlling these cars, but finding a way to pass.
Yeah, and you saw, and not as much the finding a way to pass, but the finding a way to pass and being patient, and just we've seen a lot of crashes, a lot of getting together in the the 8-lap P's and 12-lap B main. We've got 60 laps here, and administrator cautions only, so they'll be monitoring and observing exactly when that they will when they'll need a caution, and it'll be up to them to decide exactly how severe an incident is. So hopefully with this, guys just use their head, they're smart, and they'll let the race play out. It is 60 laps long.
The 60-lap A main event here tonight, as we work our final few minutes of warm-up here. We are going to step away from the mics, take a little bit of a break. No one go anywhere. We'll be back with tonight's A main action right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as our drivers work this final minute 15 seconds of warm-up. Tonight's aerial coverage is brought to you by US 50 Auto Sales. Buy, sell, and trade at US 50 Auto Sales. Numbers are hard for me here tonight. Also, tonight's race, as we said, is being brought to you by Schaeffer's Racing Oils, Dirty Dale's Diesel Performance and Auto, Herbert Properties, Gray Auto, Bobo Link Liquors, CX Wallets, Quick Lifts, Union Graphics, Professional Concrete Cutting and Drilling, Paxson Flooring Installation, Murray's Automotive Detail and Performance, and Evan Gindling Plumbing. As these drivers have now just 15 seconds left in this warm-up session, figuring out these pavement sprint cars, we get ready to go main racing. And Ryan, I am excited about this one.
Yep, this is one that we've certainly had circled on the calendar. So looking forward to tonight's feature event as warm-ups wrap up, and tonight's 24-car field starts to grid up on the racetrack. And how about this? The top two finishers from last week start 1-2 in the position they finished. I say last week, just Wednesday at Lernerville in the 410 wing sprint car. And James Tiernan and Skylar Brown, who were your winner and second place, they roll off 1 and 2 today here on the pavement at IRP.
Your starting lineup brought to you by Gray Auto, James Tiernan, Skylar Brown on row number 1. Row number 2 going to be made up of the 20 of Tyler Kendall and the 3 of Robert Dalby. Row 3 will be the 91 of Chase Barber and the 41 of Jacob Gordon. Row 4 will be the 82 of Dustin Griffiths and the 77 of Justin Lewis. Row 5, the 127 of Stephen Hill and the 27 of Evan Mosley. Row 6, the 53 of Braden Fox and the 2 of Austin Archdale. Row 7 will be the 7 of John Steed and the 01 of Gary Cronenwet. Row 8 will be the 02 of Dustin Engel and the 111 of Brandon Hughes. Row 9 will be the 33 of Shane O'Banion and the 4 of Justin Owen. Row 9 will be now we're on to row 10, Chase McDermott in the 40 and the 12 of Dano Lindsay. Row 11 will be the 59 of Jesse Vermillion and the 5 of Anton Hernandez. And row 12, the final row here tonight, will be the 44 of Michael Fish-Escher and the 73 of Fish. I'll let you say it. Holy cow.
Fish-Escher.
And
Smooth as butter, just like fish.
73
Yep.
of Blake Vermillion. I am so sorry, Mike. I apologize, man. I am trying really hard and it's just not working. So the lights have gone out on the pace car. The 98 of James Tiernan and the 10 of Skylar Brown, bringing this field around and on to the front stretch. As the green flag flies, our A main is underway, 60 laps here tonight at Lucas Oil Raceway.
Your front two drivers able to pull away single file now the top three. Then they go side by side for the third spot. Robert Dalby, Chase Barber start to go at it for the third spot as Tyler Kendall's falling back a spot from his initial starting spot of third. Dalby rides in car number 3 in the third spot. He started fourth, up a spot already, and right behind him, side by side between Kendall and Barber. And 3 wide there in the corner for a moment, and they'll start to sort things out down the front straightaway.
Michael Fischesser already in trouble. He is on pit lane. Jesse Vermillion and Anton Hernandez finding trouble here as well. We saw one on their lid, but right now the 27 machine of Stephen Hill in a 3-car battle. That is 11th, 12th, and 13th. Cars battling high and low here at IRP. Down the back stretch they go, and this mid-pack battle is seeing cars scattering all over the place, Ryan.
Yeah, this is especially back here in the mid-pack, man. It's so important to just be patient and just realize that this is 60 laps and you're not even 10% of the way in yet. So just handling your car and handling racing situations, not being too aggressive early, you know, in terms of wear on your car. Sometimes you can be more aggressive, and you know, maybe your car wore off towards the end, or cautions will fall your way, or just however it is. It's just kind of a guessing game, and kind of there's a little bit of a game of chess going on. This is not checkers anymore. So a couple guys able to move up a couple spots so far, a couple have fallen back. Like Robert Dalby started in 4th, he's back to 8th. We've seen that he's had plenty of speed on night, and then like Justin Lewis, who started 8th and is up to 4th. So a couple guys just little moving, shaking here and there. Those other guys are just kind of out to hang on for right now and see how things shake out, maybe make a big run that last 20 laps or so.
We do have 2 cars out of this race already. One of those is the 5 of Anton Hernandez and the 44 of Michael Fischesser. Fischesser, right? Fischesser?
S, yeah, not Z. Fischesser, yes sir.
Fischesser. Holy smokes.
What school did you go to?
Not a good one, apparently. Tiernan in the 98, your race leader, has led all 8 completed laps. Skylar Brown in the 10 machine trying to track him down. These two have opened up a 2.1 second gap over 3rd place Justin Lewis, but Lewis under attack from the 20 of Tyler Kendall as they run side by side for 3rd place. Behind them, a side-by-side battle between Chase Barber and Jacob Gordon.
Yeah, kind of 4 cars starting to be right under a blanket. That's 3rd to the 77 of Lewis, and him and Kendall get together right now. Kendall starts to reel him back in. Now they go side by side, little do-si-do right there. My goodness, top, bottom, they're changing lanes like you're trying to look for somewhere to check out at Walmart. Just top, bottom, left, right, middle, everywhere in between. And they start to single file out.
One driver who is steadily making his way forward, the 410 Media 27 machine, that is Stephen Hill. You can find 410 Media on YouTube. And Stephen Hill displaying some prowess in this pavement sprint car, able to work his way forward here early on. Started in 9th, fell to 12th, but has now made his way back up into 9th. So not a good start, but like you said, somebody who's trying to be patient and work his way forward.
Yeah, that's really kind of that mid-pack. You're kind of riding inside the top 10, and really, if you look at positions, probably 9 through 17, they all move forward, maybe 1 spot, 2 spots, just kind of hanging out for right now, and you know, not really pushing the issue, seeing where, you know, maybe there's an accident in front of them, an accident behind them, bring out a yellow, or take out some competitors in front of them. So just being patient. But as we say that, Hill starts to kind of look to the inside here on Dustin Griffiths and to try to move his 410 Media machine up into that 8th spot. 410 Media, a company that he runs. Got to work with him quite a bit in Illinois. Travels to quite a few different dirt tracks, a couple pavement tracks, I think, every now and again too, and does some stuff in Indiana. Does a great job on the camera. So.
Meanwhile, at the front of the field, James Tiernan now pulling away from the 10 of Skylar Brown. Jacob Gordon has fallen to 3.2 seconds behind the 10 machine, and Brown still has Justin Lewis in the 77 on his back bumper. These pavement sprint cars full of fuel really burn it off quickly, but in the first couple of laps you can really feel that fuel sloshing around, and then as it lightens up it gets really hard to keep these things under control.
Yeah, now this is the point. You know as well as I do that early on, you know, probably about lap 4, 5, 6, 7 is where guys will lay down their fastest laps. Like our leader James Tiernan, his fastest lap of the race was actually lap number 8. But now you're starting to settle in and really find your pace and figure out just how hard you can push your car, and this changes everything. We've got a caution on the speedway, KR.
Tyler Kendall in the 20 pointed in the wrong direction. Let's go to our turn 3 instant replay and see what happens to the 20 machine. Kendall working his way on the front stretch, looks like just got too much power down, and then cars trying to make their way around him with nowhere to go as that 20 was using his roll cage to try and stop him. Didn't work too well. as the last car gets by the 20, rights the ship and gets rolling, but heavy damage on that 20 machine as he crab legs into his pit stall.
Crab legs. That's a term I'm gonna have to use in the real world, because he's sliding sideways. Looks like he's trying to drive on ice or something right now, but he should be able to get out in time to only go potentially 1 lap down. Not sure exactly how much he's going to lose here, as the leaders they're on the backstretch right now, and he's in pit lane. So he's still good as of now, and it looks like he's going to be able to get out and tag the back of the field, I believe.
It does look that way, and we'll see if race control is going to give him a wave around. If you are 3 laps down or less, race control will wave you around 1 time. So we'll see if he is going to earn one of those. Jesse Vermillion looking for that wave around as well. And so we're working our first caution
lap down, but he'll be all right.
So our quick lifts yellow coming out. Tiernan has led all 20 laps that we have completed. And so Tyler Kendall in that 20 did get to go past the pace car, and he is going to catch the tail end of this field and be the last car on the lead lap.
So we've now got 20 laps complete, and you know, this is KR. Now you're in that middle stretch of the race where if you're hanging out, you know, now you're really hanging out, or if you've been aggressive, maybe now you start to back it off. As a driver, what did you try to do kind of towards that middle section of the race?
Really, you just want to focus on hitting your lines and make sure your marks are perfect, get them right. As this car wears down the tires, the fuel burns off, you do have to be a little bit more hesitant to roll into the throttle, take a little bit longer to get up to speed coming up off the corners, and it's so minute difference between each lap that you just barely start breathing that throttle a little bit less each time. But then, you know, the other thing is you can't really race the people around you. You want to run your own race in these cars, because if you start focusing on, you know, trying to pass somebody, you start realizing you're going to miss your marks, and then it makes the car a lot harder to drive.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a one of those cars that just is fully driver dependent, as pretty much any race car is. You know, typically KR, the driver has to push the gas pedal, has to push the brakes, and has to also drive the you know, turn the steering wheel. So it's just the same here. You know, that's my expert analysis.
All right, here we go. Pace car down and away. James Tiernan getting ready to bring them back to the green, and he gets a good jump. Skylar Brown in the 10, already behind the 8 ball on this restart. But both drivers able to get up to speed without spinning the tires. And here on a restart, that is very tricky, as the tires have a chance to cool down, and you can spin the back tires very easily. But everyone up to speed, and now James Tiernan begins to set a gap on the 10 of Skylar Brown. This caution has allowed the 41 of Jacob Gordon to get to the back bumper of the 10 machine, and he is staying right there. In fact, he's taking a little bit of a peek to the inside down the backstretch.
Yeah, those two, if you recall, were in the exact same heat race. They dueled it out in heat race number 2, where Brown got the win, and you know, Gordon came in second by just about a car length or so at the line, and now they're duking it out here in the feature. Gordon started in 6th, is up to 3rd, and knocking on the door of that bridesmaid spot right now.
So Gordon hanging all over that back bumper. He's going to take a look to the inside in 1 and 2. Brown able to get to the throttle a little bit sooner, an advantage of being in that upper lane, and holds on to the spot for the moment. But Gordon hanging tough with him right there. We do have a few other battles going on the track. Chase Barber in the 91 going to take a dive to the inside of the 77 of Lewis, and Barber not going to be able to carry that momentum just yet. Again, down to the inside, very hard to pass on that inside lane in the opening stages of the race, but as these tires wear out, And everyone has to start working that throttle a little bit more. That inside lane going to become more viable.
Yeah, and you and I have seen races here where sometimes the last lap pass can be made on the bottom as we've got another yellow flag out.
Austin Archdale in the 2 machine in trouble here. We're going to take a peek at what went wrong for the 2. As Archdale makes his way off of turn number 4. And a classic example of those back tires breaking loose. He is going to go up and over. Dalby in the 3 going to tag him and send him into the catch fence. But the 3 up in smoke, and he is looking for a quick repair here in pit lane.
Yeah, so those of you that are maybe familiar to or not familiar with iRacing, quick repair is essentially where you hit a magic button and it automatically resets your car. And you get a fresh chariot and away you can go. The goal with this though is to not go a lap down or maybe multiple laps down in some cases, and it looks like Archdale right here. The car does have to get repaired, so you would go at least 1 lap down, kind of depending on the timing of it. Sometimes you can go 2. Now this is a track where caution laps are much longer, but you know, where you and I have been before, maybe like a Lanier or something like that, and like caution laps are ticking along inside 20 seconds, so you don't have a whole lot of time. But he'll get out, he should be able to get a wave around and get back on the lead lap. And right now, if you're on the lead lap, you're at worst 18th. So
we started 24 cars here tonight. We're down to 20 cars left running in this event. Justin Owen scored 21st, Dustin Engel 22nd, 23rd will be Anton Hernandez, and 24th will be the 44 of Michael Fish-Esser.
Talked about starting 24 cars. Your 24 starter was Blake Vermillion, who's one of the guys that helped make this league happen, and he's been a hard charger so far. Started 24th up to 13th. This is a compliment to him. He hasn't done anything spectacular, hasn't tried to make any dumb moves really, at least from what I've been able to see with him. He's just had a steady pace and been able to move forward. And after a bad result in the heat race where he ended up a couple laps down, come through the B, grab the last spot in the B, and now he's up, knocking on the door potentially of a top 10 and just getting more laps as a guy who doesn't in real life certainly run on pavement, and as I understand on iRacing doesn't run much on it either. So that's kind of the thing with pavement, and the thing with the series is just being patient and letting the race come to you.
As the lights stay on the pace car, we are just past the halfway point, working lap 33 of 60. Jesse Vermillion in the 59 did receive a wave around. He now finds himself 1 lap down. So he is trying to work his way back into this thing. He is the only car 1 lap down right now. So that Union Graphics 59 machine got a lot of work to do here, but 27 laps to go, in need of another caution to get himself back on the lead lap.
Yeah, so he's pretty much the only one right now that are still running. I believe we've got 20 cars still competing. His 21st, who was Justin Owen, is disconnected from the server. So pretty much after this, it's just only your top 20 that'll start to change positions. And after this, it should be everybody on the lead lap. So kind of a fresh race as we get set to come back to green.
Green flag is out. Skylar Brown taking us on board for this restart. James Tiernan again with a good launch off of turn number 4, but down the backstretch into 3 and 4. And Tiernan looking like he's going to try and pull away. Skylar Brown trying to keep him in striking distance, but Brown going to have to worry about the 41 of Jacob Gordon as well.
And Gordon starting to slowly close in. There's Lewis, there's everything, and I believe we're going to have there's a big tangle up on the backstretch, and I guess we're going to stay green here for while we are. I'd imagine if you're at the front here, you want this thing to start to stay green, because on restart it seems like Tiernan's been so good that if you're going to have any shot at him here, That's going to have to come under green, potentially going to have to come with lap cars involved. So with only 30 laps left, heck, now 23 laps left, it's gonna be kind of towards the end here whenever we're going to hit some lap traffic. So here in probably about 10 laps or so. So there's not going to be a whole lot of room to make moves before then if you're a Skylar Brown or a Jacob Gordon, Justin Lewis, etc. So gonna have to be on your game here if you're gonna want to chase somebody down without a caution.
The driver who came out worse for the wear in that little scuffle you saw, Ryan, that is the 33 of Shane O'Banion. He is on pit road and looking like he may not be able to make it back out there, as we're going to have 21 laps to go. This time by James Tiernan has led all 39 completed laps. Jacob Gordon trying to work over the 10 of Skylar Brown.
Yeah, Gordon right on the back chrome bumper of Brown as they work their way into turn number 3, and Skylar just trying to see what Brown can do for you as he works off of turn number 4, and that yellow number 10 machine still out in front of the 41 as they negotiate their way into turns number 1 and 2. We're inside 20 laps to go now here in the iRacing Triple Crown Series Madison May, presented by Schaeffer's Racing Oil. A bit of a higher line that time for Gordon as he'll try to, I thought he was going to try to dive the bottom right there off of Brown, but still going to peek to the inside here into turn number 1 and just let him know he's there, maybe in the rear view mirror, have the spotter say looking inside. So at this point, just trying to chase him down, but also doesn't want to make a move that either potentially takes both of them out or, you know, knocks it back half a second to where they can't chase after the win tonight.
The 27 machine of Stephen Hill has made his way into 6th place. Right behind him is the 53 of Braden Fox. Fox started in 11th, has moved up into 7th place. So a driver who has been able to work his way forward, that blue and red machine in the tire tracks of Stephen Hill. Hill at one.
Braden.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, Braden runs real life. You know, wing, non-wing sprint cars. That scheme that you're looking at is after his family's car, who they still run, I believe, the Silver Crown Series with that paint scheme, with a red frame and a blue body, and you know, had a lot of legendary drivers with their family in racing. But we're going to have a caution here with about 15 laps to go, and this is going to bring another restart here, KR, in the last quarter of the race.
This caution going to be brought out by the 01 of Gary Cronenwet, as he's just going to catch the outside wall down the front stretch, goes flipping in turns 1 and 2, end over end, and ends up wheels up. Not the way you want to see your race car here at Lucas Oil Raceway. So back under caution we go. It looks like the 3 machine of Robert Dalby sitting on the backstretch. Not sure what has happened to Dalby. He has come to a complete stop.
Apparently, I'm listening to race control, and apparently his car shut off. So either he hit a button on the keyboard, or I've seen a couple times where guys can stall the car out somehow. If maybe your pedaling system is the right way, or maybe in some instances the wrong way. But yeah, his car is not firing right now, and looks like he's gonna escape and go to the pits. So tough break for your 4th place qualifier in Robert Dalby.
So Dalby on the pit lane here. We'll see if he can get that thing refired and get back out there. Your race leader continues to be James Tiernan. He has led all 46 completed laps. We'll have 13 laps to go this time around. Ryan, these drivers, you know, really showing just how diverse this series is going to be. Despite that diversity, 2 drivers we constantly talk about in the front of this thing. That is the 98 of James Tiernan and the 10 of Skylar Brown.
Yeah, it's all about consistency. Now, kind of one of the differences is I don't believe Tiernan competed in the first event at Kokomo. If he did, I apologize, I don't remember, but I know, like, you know, Skylar runs a lot of midget races. Skylar runs a lot of races that pretty much anything on the server, so I'm not as quite as familiar with Tiernan. I know he runs a ton of the wing sprint car stuff. He's a pro and runs a ton of the pavement sprint car stuff, you know, from races that you and I have done, but I'm not sure how much, you know, dirt midget experience, you know, non-wing sprint car kind of experience that he's got, you know, the kind of other cars that you'll have to compete with in this series to be able to win a championship, if that's something that he's able to even do. So
coming up next Wednesday, our next race number 4 of this 8-race series, May 13th at Fairbury. We will be in the midgets, so make sure you set your calendars for that one. Kind of the halfway mark of the season, and so our points battle getting up close. James Tiernan, Skylar Brown sitting at 1 and 2. That was how they were running last week at Lernerville. Here they are once again, looking like they are going to try and finish 1 and 2 races in a row as Tiernan picks up the throttle. We are back underway, and the 98 with a solid jump once again on this restart. Brown able to pull away from Jacob Gordon, and the 91 of Chase Barber trying to chase down the 41.
Yeah, Tiernan able to jump out again to about a 0.4 or a second or so lead right here as they'll cross the start-finish line. And yeah, just about 0.4 of a second. And it's about 0.3 back to Gordon, Barber, and Lewis riding inside the top 5. And good run so far for Stephen Hill. Talked about him. How about a run from Chase McDermott? He sat in the mid-pack for quite a bit of the race, and now he's in the middle of a great battle for the 7th spot between Braden Fox, himself, and Tyler Kendall, as they go nose to tail right there in turns number 1 and 2. And that's a good charge for McDermott, who started 19th and is all the way up to 8th after, I believe, was also involved either near a caution or in a caution early on in tonight's feature event as well.
Tyler Kendall making a good recovery. Kendall, one of those drivers who was in a caution, fell back all the way to 20th spot, got back on the lead lap, and has now made his way up inside the top 10. But just in front of him, there is a big battle, a huge mix of cars being led by the 91 of Chase Barber. Skylar Brown in the 10 machine, gonna get in trouble.
Oh my goodness, a 4-car, 5-car, 6-car accident. Wow, Talladega all over again.
Multiple cars involved, including Tyler Kendall. Let's go to our turn 3 instant replay and figure out what happened here, as Skylar Brown in the 10 is racing with Jacob Gordon side by side. Contact is going to be made between those two. Brown gets up into the wall. Stephen Hill plows into him with nowhere to go. McDermott involved, Tyler Kendall getting involved. So several cars getting torn up in this one.
Just about everybody that was anywhere from spots 2 through 10 right there was involved. So looks like Skylar Brown, surely he has some damage, but he's still going to be able to roll right now. Looks like his his front end's a little jacked up, but he should be able to pull to the infield and then come to the pits once he gets caught up to the leader, so that he doesn't go a lap down. He can come in and pit, which he'll do right now.
The carnage all throughout turns 1 and 2, bringing out our most recent caution. We have had 4 cautions here tonight for 17 laps, and this caution really coming close to the end of this thing. I'm not sure if we're going to have an official attempt at a green-white checkered, but James Tiernan in the 98 has been one that has led every lap so far here tonight. Jacob Gordon now finding himself in second place. Do want to take a moment to talk about the 7 machine. That is John Steed. Steed started in 13th, currently finds himself in 15th. So John has not had a good night, but a driver that put in some practice for this one, but really didn't feel like he had a whole lot for anything here at this track.
Yeah, it's he's one of those guys, like, you know, we've talked about the runs dirt in real life. I'm not sure he's ever driven a pavement car, period, in real life. And this has been a learning curve, but that's what this is about. I mean, iRacing in general is, to me at least, something that allows either real life race car drivers or people who are not race car drivers to step in and do something that they don't do normally. So this is, and to have fun with it and just have a good time, especially right now in the world that we're all stuck in. So that's what we're all doing, and a lot of these guys are having a blast here. There's been some guys that have had some great runs. Braden Fox has gone 11th. He's up to 4th. Austin Archdale 12th to 5th. And how about Blake Vermillion, 24th? He now rides in 6th, and he's going to be just hanging out, riding around on this restart. He's had speed, he's had the pace. He's just been patient and just hasn't done anything really wrong throughout the course of the day. So the race is going to be extended just barely for this green-white checkered finish.
That it is. We are going into a green-white checkered attempt. Blake Vermillion in the 73, going to have another shot to gain a few more positions, maybe even break in to a top 5. But the 98 of James Tiernan going to have to fire off perfectly one more time. Jacob Gordon in the 41 gets to his back bumper. He's going to try and stay close to him and not let him get away. As they fire off, Tiernan in the 98 gets a good jump. Gordon tried to time it but misjudged a little bit, and that was when Tiernan took off, and that is going to open up a gap from first to second place.
Yeah, Tiernan right there played the classic kind of race car driver game of when you feel a bump from behind, that does not mean go. That means wait about half a second and then start to go, and that's pretty much what happened right there. Gordon got up. Either if he didn't make contact, if he did, that's certainly true. If he didn't, just hang tight and wait for it. And James Tiernan is going to dominate tonight here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park, as he's going to win round number 3 of the Triple Crown Series Madness in May, presented by Schaeffer's Racing Oil here on the pavement at Lucas Oil Raceway, IRP, KR, and pretty dominant from start to finish, no doubt about it.
Yeah, James Tiernan picked up a solid win here tonight, as several cars got in trouble there on the last lap, really scrambled this running order. But Tiernan able to survive all of this by staying out in front, and is going to pick up the race win as he celebrates his victory. Guys, we're going to step away from our microphones, set up our post-race show, but while we do that, if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and give a thumbs up for these drivers and their sponsors here in the broadcast, and we will be back to talk to our podium finishing drivers. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our Turn 3 Racing Network post-race show, as we have caught up with our race winner. That is the 98 of James Tiernan. Man, oh man, James, a dominant performance here in the pavement sprint car, leading all 61 laps. Congratulations on that race win.
Certainly appreciate it. Watched a lot of the old footage from, back in the old midgets and sprint cars when they used to run here at IRP. And kind of the name of the game, I think, here is saving that right front and the right rear. And I managed to do that, managed to stay in front of everybody, avoid any drama, and pretty much doesn't get any better than the performance I put on.
Well, that 98 machine, perfect performance in the A main event here tonight. Not only in that, but a solid heat race, just a solid night all around for the 98. but now starting to make some noise in this points battle as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I missed out on the Lernerville midget race, so lost out on some points opportunities there. So looking to make that up, and I've set a pretty good amount of momentum going into another midget race this week, and hopefully I can continue that momentum for the rest of the season and hopefully pick up the champion.
All right, James. Well, any shout outs or thank yous you'd like to give for this race win?
Absolutely. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Ergot Real Estate, the Racers Real Estate. Also like to thank Austin Law and Fairway Mortgage. I also got Jessup Logistics, Over the Wall Photography, Paints by the Tune again was one I forgot to mention last week. So huge shout out to him. Huge shout out to Elbows Up Sim Sport and everything they do. It's an awesome team to be on. And lastly, I'd like to thank you guys because it's awesome to be able to have a broadcast and the whole Madness in May series because these are all my favorite cars. With the non-wing pavement cars, sprint cars, and midgets. And yes, I am good in the non-wing cars. I heard that earlier in the broadcast. I did okay in the USAC Pro deal last season. So looking forward to doing that as well.
All right, man. Again, congratulations on the race win out here tonight.
Yep. You guys have a good night.
That is your race winner, none other than James Tiernan. Now, Ryan, I believe you've caught up with our second place finisher, Jacob Gordon.
Yeah, Jacob Gordon tonight in his white and red number 41 Redline sponsored Ford powered machine. Jacob, come home in second. That last restart, what's going through your mind?
I was just, I had to pass quite a few cars starting sixth. So, James, he was on a rail. I knew it was going to be hard to get him, and the restart was everything. But unfortunately, he got a much better restart, so I just kind of had to coast and make it across the finish line.
What kind of pace does it take, especially in a race like this? This is probably one of the shorter pavement sprint car races that a guy like you would be able to run. Some of them are maybe 15, 20 laps, 30, 40 laps longer, especially here at IRP. The patience and just kind of the rhythm that goes into a night like this. And then it gets interrupted by a spurt there in the middle of the race that had 3 or 4 cautions right in a row.
Yeah, you definitely can't run 60 qualifying laps. And, I think James made a great run there. He's making consistent laps, not burning the tires like he said. But, you can't be too slow and hang back too long. And, you can't light the world on fire from the get-go. So it takes a lot of patience and a lot of thought to do this.
Still a very, very good run for you tonight. A solid second-place finish and a lot of great battles for you. Skylar Brown, James Tiernan, Chase Barber throughout the course of the race. Who makes your effort and your team possible?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank my dad. He's my mentor and my hero, so without him, I wouldn't be where I am. Second of all, I'd like to thank my buddies, Braden Fox and Evan Mosley, for pushing me to be better, throughout the weeks of practicing for this league. And, it's just we all push each other to be better. So if it weren't for those guys too, I probably wouldn't be up here too.
Well, we appreciate your time. A fantastic run tonight, and hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday night in the midget at Fairbury.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's Jacob Gordon, your second place finisher tonight. Third place belonging to the 91 machine of Chase Barber, who was also involved in a lot of great battles. KR Stolfus has caught up with him.
I have caught up with the 91 of Chase Barber, bringing it home in third. Chase, nice job out there tonight in this tricky car to get around the speedway, and a third place got to feel like a good feeling for you.
Yeah, absolutely appreciate that. Just happy to be done. These cars are a handful, and there's a balancing point between patience and pushing, so it can get pretty tough. I didn't really want to see that last green white checkered. It was a little nerve wracking, but it was a good run. It's a good race. Everyone ran clean, so it was nice to come home third.
A solid third place at Lucas Oil. These cars like to run right along that wall on the high side to pick up some speed, and that 91 machine was able to work around cars who maybe didn't have the best of luck. What was it like dodging all the cars out there tonight?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I didn't get any damage from some of those. I say near misses, but I definitely hit some cars. But yeah, I've got a few hundred laps here in a midget in real life, so that kind of helps. It's very similar to slide jobs when you're passing here, and just carrying momentum is key. But yeah, staying out of trouble is one. I dodged a few incidents there. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
All right, man. Well, who do you have to thank for this third place finish here tonight?
All my supporters. I don't really have anybody on this car, but definitely all the series sponsors. All these guys putting on is pretty cool, especially with everything going on in the world. And May here in Indianapolis is not going as planned, as everyone is aware. So it's nice to be able to have some sort of racing and something to do on a Sunday and Wednesday night. So all the series sponsors, thanks guys, and the guys that are hosting it's awesome.
All right, that is your third place finisher, Chase Barber. Once again, man, congratulations.
Appreciate that. Thanks for you guys hosting this thing too as well.
All right, Ryan, Chase Barber, bringing it home in third. We saw these guys put in a heck of a show, and now nothing left but to go through our race results. James Tiernan, your race winner. Jacob Gordon finishing in second. Third, Chase Barber. Fourth, going to be Braden Fox. And rounding out your top five will be the two of Austin Archdale.
Justin Lewis comes home in the sixth spot. Dustin Griffiths in seventh. A great charger, hard charger tonight is Blake Vermillion, who started 24th. He started 14th in the B main, got to 8th to make the final transfer spot, starts 24th in the A, comes home in the 8th spot. Skylar Brown, who rode in second most of the race, involved in a late caution, comes home in 9th. And Chase McDermott, a 9th spot move forward as he goes from 19th to finish in 10th.
11th place going to be the 7 of John Steed. 12th is Brandon Hughes. 13th, Jesse Vermillion. 14th, Dano Lindsay. And 15th will be Stephen Hill.
16th, multiple laps down, Tyler Kendall, then Evan Mosley in 17th, Shane O'Banion in 18th, Gary Cronowet in 19th, and Robert Dobby, who started in 4th and had a good run going on early, ultimately stalls his car, if you will, and finishes in 20th position.
21st will be Justin Owen. 22nd, Dustin Engel. Anton Hernandez finished in 23rd, and 24th will be Michael Fischesser. And so, Ryan, heading to Fairbury next week in the midgets, but we put Lucas Oil and Pavement sprint cars behind us. Final thoughts before you close us out?
Yeah, so this is one of the two Pavement sprint car events. Both of them are going to be held as of now at Lucas Oil Raceway. There's a little bit of talk about potentially holding a different one somewhere else. Maybe the last race of the year could be elsewhere. But I tell you what, with a couple of pros in Tiernan and Brown, they're going to be tough to beat here on the pavement, and they certainly were the clash of the field tonight. But man, Jacob Gordon and Chase Barber really made a name for themselves tonight. Guys that certainly have been good on the dirt stuff, but hadn't been quite, run up on the podium and be as dominant as they would. And a great run for Braden Fox, a great run for Blake Vermillion, and a couple others as well. So a fantastic night of racing here at Lucas Oil Raceway. A total, I believe, tonight of about 30 cars, 31 cars tonight. So complete round number 3 of the Triple Crown Series at Madison May, presented to you by Schaeffer's Racing Oil. Again, a special thank you to all the sponsors that make this broadcast possible and the series possible as well. And thanks to all of you for watching here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Until we meet again on Wednesday night when the National Midgets hit the dirt again at Fairbury. I know a lot of guys are looking forward to hopping back in the midget, probably one of the funnest cars in the entire server, to rattle around the tight little bull ring that sits in the state of Illinois, where guys are going to be able to race and throw a lot of big old slide jobs. Fairbury, a fantastic racetrack, and a lot of guys are looking forward to going there. So until we meet again on Wednesday night for midgets at Fairbury, for everyone at the Turn 3 Racing Network and everyone with the Triple Crown Series who puts on this Madison May, and my broadcast partner, KR Stolfus. I'm Ryan Kent Jr. So long and good night from here in Indianapolis.